This is Scotland's longest river, the mighty River Tay. The Tay begins its journey high up on the slopes of Ben Louis in the far west. It steers a majestic course through some of Scotland's most impressive landscapes before finally greeting the North Sea at Dundee in the east. Positioned between the Loch Lomond and Cairngorm National Parks, the River Tay's delicate habitat is no less special than that of its neighbours. And like both national parks, it requires careful management in order to safeguard its environmental health for future generations. The Tay Foundation was established in the 80s to deal with the buying out of commercial salmon netting stations in the Tay's estuary. This objective was successfully achieved by the late 90s, permitting free passage to the spawning grounds for an estimated 20,000 additional Tay salmon each year. It's a charitable trust which has a remit to perform research into all species of fish in the River Tay catchment. It also has a remit to educate the public of the importance of the River Tay environment and its tributary rivers. The Tay Foundation's objective is to embark on new, holistic environmental River Tay projects made possible through fundraising efforts.
We plan to deal with a wide range of environmental issues. The biggest one is probably invasive species on the Tay. They're probably the biggest environmental threat after climate change itself, and we need to get rid of those. Some of those are plant species like Japanese knotweed, Himalayan balsam, giant hogweed, but there's animal species like mink as well.
There's other factors on the Tay that really can do with some professional assistance going forward. The fish stocks in the river are significantly lower for various reasons, but I would put it down to environmental reasons, the fact that the salmon are not there in numbers any further. Other freshwater fish like brown trout, eel population, Arctic char are all in decline, and again this is all a byproduct of the environment and the fact that it isn't as optimally conditioned as it used to be.
We've been working on this now for about 5 or 6 years. It grew out of a project called the Tay Western Catchment Project, where colleagues of mine looked at over 1,000 miles of river, looked at the environmental difficulties facing the river, looked at the decrease in the number of salmon involved, looked at all sorts of other aspects of endangered species, and there are a whole series of ideas now that need to be taken forward to get this river back up to where it originally was.
It's a very significant part of Highland Perthshire in Scotland. There are so many communities and wildlife species that are totally dependent on this habitat up here being in optimal condition, and we have an undertaking as people to make sure that these habitats remain in great state of health going forward for future generations.
You're trucking out, bang on time as usual.
Great.
Good morning.
Morning, Joe.
How's it going, Alistair?
Very good.
Good to see you.
See you again.
Hi, Victor.
How are you today?
Very well.
I was very fortunate to meet Alistair Riddle, who's a significant Glen Lyon landowner, and also Victor Clements through Scottish Native Woods. And Victor had a history of habitat restoration up on Deeside, and we've actually gone out and surveyed a huge chunk of the headwaters, which took us a few years and quite a lot of private funding. So we now have all the facts in front of us as to what we need to get out and try and achieve over the next 10 or 20 years.
I had seen the Larne in particular, but the whole river system decline between the sort of 80s and 90s, and had always wondered, I fished the river from boyhood, just what we could do about it. And then this pure chance meeting of you and I, your experience from the Dee, and then an introduction to Jock with his enthusiasm. We've got a lot of work to do over the next few years, and a lot of issues to resolve.
If we can tune that into education and letting the school kids understand exactly how it all fits together, and balance the environment at the same time, that would be something really worthwhile.
Absolutely. If we get this right, it'll roll on into the future. The educational stuff is really important, I think. There's all sorts of training projects and skills so we can learn people, and there's definitely a big demand out there for people who want that, I think.
We at the Tay Foundation are looking for a single exclusive sponsor for a 10-year program, initially on this river, to realign it in terms of its environment, include social and an economic aspect to the whole program that we are putting forward. I think it's absolutely fundamental. If we don't tackle the sort of issues that are developing on this river, and indeed globally, this will not be sustainable. And this is part of a program the communities on the Tay can become involved with and support and derive enormous benefits from.
The sponsor will benefit from exclusive TV branding rights via an ongoing 50-programme internet-hosted high-definition documentary which will be spread over the full 10-year term of the project. The programmes will explore the positive environmental, economic and social benefits which the project will bring to the many communities throughout the Tay catchment. In particular, how young people can be encouraged to take an interest and pride in the natural world through education and field participation schemes.
I think it's hugely important. The River Tay is central to this part of Scotland. It's worth millions of pounds to the local economy every year. Everything that happens in this valley is somehow connected to this river. And there's a huge PR benefit to anyone associated with it.
It's crucial for me that this river stays intact. These environments are preserved for future generations to enjoy the way I've enjoyed it and my ancestors have enjoyed it. It's a vital part of Scotland and it's what this beautiful nation is about. And there's so many people dependent on its environmental welfare. To lose it would be a catastrophic thing for our beautiful nation. The Tay's important environmental balance could be lost within a few decades if effective measures are not taken now to safeguard it. Is it in your nature to care?